Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, and the Consul General of India in Durban, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Ms. Fizika Shandu, Mr. Sujit Kumar Purset, Dr. Madhu Agnihurti, Mr. Kiran Singh, Mr. Sipiwe Mchunu, distinguished guests. Namaskar and welcome to a very important festival. And indeed, today is day one of a Virasat Parva or Heritage Festival, where the 24th of September commemorates Heritage Day in South Africa. This Heritage Festival is intended to investigate, analyze, understand, discover, experience, and comprehend the deep, rich heritages of South Africa and India. Both countries represent a vast spectrum of intense heritage, history, culture, and diversity. This program aims to collaborate with partners from South Africa and India to share this unique synergy of togetherness and shared similarities, differences, and common concerns. Culture and heritage brings the world together to make it understandable through food, dance, music, dress, festivals, and rituals. The programs of Heritage Festival are dialogue to experience and share the heritages of both countries as an exploration of inner energy or power to encroach the limits of human perceptions, prejudices, discrimination, attachments, to attain the sense of oneness, despite all outer expressions, varieties, verities, diversities of the individual, communities, societies, and the world at large. Heritage Day on the 24th of September recognizes and celebrates the cultural wealth of our nation. South Africans celebrate the day by remembering the cultural heritage of many cultures that make up the population of the Republic of South Africa. Various events are staged throughout the country to commemorate this day. Living heritage is the foundation of all communities and an essential source of identity and continuity. Aspects of living heritage include cultural tradition, oral history, performance, ritual, popular memory, skills, techniques, indigenous knowledge system, and holistic approach to nature, society, and social relationships. In South Africa, the term intangible cultural heritage is used interchangeably with the term living heritage. Living heritage plays an important role in promoting cultural diversity, social cohesion, reconciliation, peace, and economic development. In every community, there's a living human treasures who possess a high degree of knowledge, skills, and history pertaining to different aspects of diverse living heritage. It is therefore important for South Africans to restore, preserve, and celebrate various aspects of living heritage to accelerate the use of living heritage to exchange challenges and address challenges communities are facing today. Indeed, to commence our day one of this Heritage Festival, I'd like to invite our first guest speaker, Ms. Fikeza Shandu, a filmmaker based in South Africa. Namaste, Sabona, and welcome, Ms. Shandu, for your remarks today.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Fezia Shandu. I am a South African filmmaker. Love and compassion, I think those are two things that one is born with. And I feel that they make the world great. As human beings, we need to show love to one another. As human beings, we need to be compassionate, you know, because we're living in difficult times. We're living in the times where people are dying, where people are suffering mentally, where people are being retrenched from work, and they don't know when is their next bread is going to come from, you know. And I feel as if you are a human being and in these difficult times where we are living, you are able to spread the love, and you are able to be compassionate with others who are in need. I think you are the best humankind that the universe could ever had. Now, as a filmmaker, what is our role in spreading this word? Firstly, as filmmakers, our role is to tell stories. Our role is to tell stories that resonate with us, stories that are relatable, stories that build, stories that are constructive, stories that give people hope, stories that says there's still love, there's still second chances, and we can rebuild from whatever. Stories that teach young kids to preserve culture, stories that teach people how important it is to preserve our culture. Because with the fourth industrial revolution taking place, we can't afford to lose the only thing that we have, and that is our culture. Now, what is our role in spreading the love and compassion? So we need to tell stories that when people watch those stories, they believe in love again. People, when they watch our stories, whether it's a film, whether it's a documentary, whether it's a series, but people need to find strength in whatever situation they're going through. People need to find hope in our stories that we tell. I did a film called Blunder. So Blunder is a film about a couple, in fact, that wanted to get married during lockdown. So with lockdown, we had levels. So there was level 5 where literally everything stopped. So there was no movement at all. You had to stay where you were at that time, and the only thing that you could use was your cell phone to communicate, or your laptop to communicate with people from far away, or your loved ones, and so on and so forth. So this couple wanted to get married during that time. In fact, they wanted to get married prior that, and then lockdown was an obstacle in them to get married. So they decided that you're going to do it online, so nothing's going to come in a way of them getting married. So where there's love, there's a way. So eventually they find a way of conquering that. So I only had an idea, and this was last year, 2020. I only had an idea that, okay, this is the film that I want to do, because I have love for it. I have love of telling stories. I have love of inspiring people. I have love of showing people that even in the most difficult times, we can still find ways of expressing ourselves. So I only had an idea, and I talked to a few filmmakers or to a few creative beings, and they wanted to express their love as well. So they came along and they showed their love to me. I didn't expect the film to be the way it is now. It was a huge success. It was a huge success because it was made out of love. It was made out of compassion. People saw the idea, and they wanted the idea to be alive. They wanted this idea to be seen by the world, because they believe that it is a very nice story, and it's a relevant story, because it is our job as filmmakers to tell relevant stories. So they came together, and they we are going to make this film a success through love and compassion, because I had nothing. I had no money. I had no location. I had nothing. All I had was just an idea and I just wanted to articulate the idea. And thanks to the creative beings who were part of this film, because they saw the need of telling this story, because this story also tackles culture. Because in the times in times like these, in these times that we're living in, the COVID-19 times, it is important that we don't lose the only thing that we have. It is important that we preserve the most. Fourth industrial revolution is coming at a full force. Now we need to find ways of balancing this. How can we balance culture and technology? How can these two things come together and be and we find a way forward? Because we cannot let COVID-19, we cannot let anything stop us in a way. We need to find ways of living in these difficult times. So Blunder I think Blunder articulates that very well. That even though there are things that are coming in a way, and there are things that are being
Thank you so much, Ms. Ashandu, for your remarks. Indeed, today is day one of the Heritage Festival, with the theme being Heritage of Love and Compassion. Thank you so much, Ms. Shandu, for sharing your remarks with us today. Our next guest speaker is joining us live from India, and that's Dr. Sujit Kumar Purset, a senior fellow at the Community Center for Policy Research, New Delhi, India. Namaskar, sir. Welcome on the first day of Heritage Festival, with the theme being Love and Compassion.
Namaskar to everyone. My name is Dr. Sujit, and I'm from India. And it's very nice to meet in this very august gathering. My sincere respect, my reverence goes to Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi ji and his efficient team from India, and my all distinguished friends from Africa also. So this is a series on heritage, and the first topic today is love and compassion, the heritage of love and compassion. The moment we see the human civilization, it's the journey of love and compassion. That's why it's the human civilization. The moment we start from the civilization till 2021, we have seen the two factors has strengthened and enriched the journey of human civilization. So the first concept of love is the most important element in the trajectory of the journey of the human civilization. The moment we see indiscriminate affection towards everyone, it is the hallmark of Indian civilization. Love means a passionate affection toward any single person, but the Indian civilization talks about indiscriminate love for everyone. So this is a love in a very universal form, and this is the relevance in today also. The second concept is compassion. The Hindi term is called the karuna. Now we'll go to this topic, but we'll start the discussion in a very formal way. We'll start with the year 1893, when two persons were making journeys. Those journeys were not normal, it was quite path-breaking journey. And the two persons were, first person was Swami Vivekananda, from all the way from India. He reached to Chicago and addressed the entire world, and he mesmerized the entire world with this term called brothers and sisters. Means we are showing affection and love. So the entire world was taken over by this Swami Vivekananda's utterance about brothers and sisters of the world. So this is the first journey. The second journey was by another person whose name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, was making a journey from India to South Africa. And when he arrived at South Africa, the journey of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, when he tried to become an individual barrister, but all of a sudden destiny changed him to the Mahatma, because he started taking on the color prejudice, the discriminations and injustice through love and non-cooperation and non-violence also. So love has always been part and parcel of the journey of human civilization. It also changed the discourse of human history also. So when we see both the terms love and compassion, we get the resemblance, we get the reverberance in many writings right from the ancient time. The very first writing in the entire human civilization is in Sanskrit. It was by Rishi Valmiki, sage Valmiki, when he was traveling on the bank of river Tamasa, he saw that one hunter has killed a male bird, and over the dead body of the male bird, the female bird is crying and wailing. So it is heart-wrenching for him. So overpowered with these human emotions, that's most important, is compassion. So the very first writing in Sanskrit or human civilization, the literature or civilization outspoken by says is Mah Nisada Pratisthatmagama Saswati Sama Jatkruncha Michunadekam Avati Kama Mohitam. This is the first utterance and is straight from the heart, based on human emotions and is based on compassion, means the feeling of suffering of others. The same thing was carried forward by in recent times by Mahatma Gandhi, when his favorite bhajan was popularized by the Gujarati poet Narsi Mehta saying that Vaishnava Janato Teno Kahyo Jo Peed Paraye Janere, means those people are the children of God, those who feel the pain, the anguish, and the suffering of others. So the suffering of others and the treatment to alleviate those sufferings is a part of compassion. So human beings, human civilization, and the heritage of human civilization, and the heritage of our civilization and culture is based on compassion. So right from sage Valmiki to Mahatma Gandhi, and in between, the great man called Gautam the Buddha, who spread love, and he's tried to build an environment, build a society and world based on love and compassion. So the cool, calm, and serene face of Lord Buddha, it reflects, it radiates the two most important elements of human civilization, love and compassion. So the three persons, sage Valmiki, Lord Buddha, and Mahatma Gandhi, they are the harbingers, they are the beginner, the first person who took forward the love and compassion. So in recent times also, there is another poet from the eastern state of India, it's called Ulisa, and the name of the poet is Bhima Bhoi, whose writings has been engraved on the precincts of the Parliament of India, and he lived in the era of 1845 to 1895, and his famous lines are in Uriya, Praninko Arato Dukkha Apramito Dekhu Dekhu Kebaso Mujivana Pache Norte Podithau Jagato Uddharaho. The English translation is, let my soul be condemned to hell, but let the universe be redeemed. Means I will take care of all the sufferings, all the pains, and I'll go to the hell, but let the world be redeemed. So these great thoughts about suffering of others, mitigation of others, it's called compassion. Now, if you look at the journey of the two terms, love and compassion, they are the two prime factors or two prime forces that change the discourse of human civilization in recent times. Martin Luther King in USA, then Revered Nelson Mandela in Africa, they carried forward the same love and compassion, the feeling of others, the feeling for others' suffering, the pain of others, the anguish of others. And today, when we see the entire world is suffering from the pandemic, the only solution or the silver lining, the dark cloud is the path that has been sown by our ancestors, right from Gautam Buddha to sage Valmiki, Gandhiji, Nelson Mandela. So the entire humanity that require what it needs the most right now, the feeling for others, the love, spreading of love, and the suffering and mitigation of suffering of others. Today, when we see the pandemic, it took over the entire world. We started something called helping out to each other, right from India to the entire world, helping out each other. It led down to something called a new path of building a new world altogether. So the message is right now that love and compassion will take it forward, the entire human civilization out of the crisis. And these are the eternal principles that will keep on guiding the entire human civilization whenever the human civilization will face any sort of problem. So we'll discuss this topic from the perspective of another great person of this century, Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein said that the entire human civilization is engulfed with an element of delusion that can be eradicated by spreading the sphere of compassion, the circle of compassion. So when we see, says Valmiki to Albert Einstein, the same philosophy continues about spreading the sphere of compassion. Today also in year 2021, when we talk about the human civilization journey, the journey will be enriched, and the existence of human lives on the world, it will be strengthened, it will be evaluated only through this eternal principle of adhering to love and compassion. So the concept of love and compassion, it will keep on guiding the human civilization. So whenever you see the concept of love, it may be very special affection for one person. So there goes in stories which Lord Buddha popularized, that Lord Buddha said that one day one child went to a garden and he saw something called a flower called rose, and he plucked it, and he came to house and he just offered it to his mother. The mother saw it, and that day it was a Mother's Day, and he touched the feet of mother. Now the mother is started crying, saying that you brought a rose for me, that's not important, but the concern for me, the love for me, that's more important. So physical or precious gift is no more important, it may be very relevant, but what is more important is that the feeling for others, the feeling for something called the eternal principle, spreading of love and cooperation. So if you look at the journey of Mahatma Gandhi, who started his journey in Africa, 1893, he established a firm called the Phoenix Settlement. And precisely in Phoenix Settlement, he gave the nomenclature of the settlement as Phoenix, precisely to emphasize on certain eternal principle, which he was trying to popularize. He tried something called the non-violence. He started something called cooperation among all, and spreading love and indiscriminate love for everyone. So Gandhi said the Phoenix word stands for the journey of, or the victory of, life over death, the journey and victory of love over hatredness, the journey of non-violence, the victory of non-violence over violence and destruction. So the eternal principles are as much as eternal that the principle of the Phoenix. Phoenix set as Phoenix word, it speaks about something called the bird. When it comes to know, this Phoenix bird, when it comes to know that the death is coming, it straight goes toward the sun, and it just falls down from the sky as ashes. And from the ashes, new children of Phoenix starts the new beginning of life. So Phoenix means the journey of something called eternal principle. That's why Gandhiji gave the name of eternal principles as Phoenix Settlement. So he thought that the principle of love, compassion, non-violence will always prevail over its negative connotation. So today when we see Gandhiji's relevance is more important in 2021. So when we saw that the first Sanskrit sloka, or the Hyman, that was uttered by sage Valmiki, it has the still relevance to guide the entire human civilization. So be we in the year 2021, what is most required is right now the adherence to love and cooperation and compassion. Compassion is a term, it is right now more value loaded. Value loaded in the sense that it has certain eternal principle. For example, right now we are seeing that there are many injustices, economic inequalities, discriminations in many parts of the world. And right now also we are seeing a different phase of world politics where violence is a more important factor. But right now what we need is we need dialogue among this civilization, and the dialogue among civilization will be based on the twin principles of adherence to love and cooperation as well as compassion. So when we say that the entire humanity, the question mark is right now in Latin term, it is called quo vadis, means where it is heading for. So this is the biggest question the entire humanity is suffering or facing. That's where it is heading for, post-corona, post-COVID, in the post-violence situation. The answer will be again, that till the time there will be love and compassion, the humanity will be on right track, and whenever the human civilization will be out of track, the solution will be from adherence and more adherence to the principles of love and compassion. So we must adhere to the love and compassion. I gave many examples and these things. So I will restrict my speech to here once again by giving sincere thanks to the organizer on organizing such a beautiful topic, love and compassion. Let there be more and more love and compassion. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sujit Kumar Purseth, sir, for giving us your very insightful knowledge today on the theme of heritage of love and compassion on this first day of the Heritage Festival. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time off your busy schedule and being here with us. Next, we will be showcasing a cultural performance on the heritage of South Africa. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Thina singabantu bomhlabathi nomkhathi nomvelinqangi. Thina singabantu bomhlabathi bomkhathi nomvelinqangi. We are the mother of the nations. How can we look ourselves down? Tina sazalwa yiwo lo mhlabathi phansi sabami. We must not be afraid, for the source of life of every race.
basi siyasithenga wewe Afrika lizwe lethu siyakuthatha mama Africa siyakuthatha mama Africa welcome
Africa is mama tonight. I'll see sing and sing ate pula pula mazania. Africa is mama see sing and sing ate pula pula mazania. Africa is mama Uyele kaya gantu tuhamba Yebubu kazi bempilo yeskashana Ungazufele maweni buya Uzotahia Buyele kaya bantu tuhamba Yebubu kazi bempilo yeskashana Ungazufele maweni buya Uzotahia Ungazufele maweni buya uzogotahia Buyele kaya bantu tuhamba Yebubu kazi bempilo yeskashana Ungazufele maweni buya uzogotahia Sokaya buyele kaizo futumeza Itutu ya sema pandani ya bia Shubu wangu mimo ya potume kaya Isema kaya itutu ya sema kaya Isema kaya itutu ya sema kaya Isema kaya itutu ya sema kaya Isema kaya
I hope you enjoyed that performance as much as we did. Our next guest speaker is Mr. Reginald Makibela, who's a choreographer and dancer from South
Africa. All right. Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Untitled Chapter, and I am a musician. I'm an activist. I'm a researcher. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm very passionate about vulnerable children, particularly vulnerable girls in my country. So I'm also the founder of Noma Pets, which is a social initiative that aims at combating period poverty in Lesotho and worldwide. This is a project that I'm very passionate about, and I just felt like I needed to put it out there. Right now, I feel like music has been the biggest outlet for me in this period in our time, and in my age. I feel like I'm at my peak and I have to make it work, regardless of anything that I'm currently going through due to the effects of the pandemic. And as a musician in Lesotho, for me, culture and heritage have played such a big role in my identity. I have an album called Mocholoko, and Mocholoko just means ancient cosmologist and apprentice. So this is someone who studies the behavior of the stars, someone who is very connected spiritually to the Basotho belief systems, and my music just speaks more about how that has liberated me as a woman, how that has liberated me as an artist, and just as a member of this country. Being born in the kingdom of Lesotho, the mountain kingdom of Lesotho, is such a privilege, because we're a very historical and cultural place. We hold our culture so close, and we really, really care about how we speak. Are you speaking the right language? Are you speaking the right Sesotho? How do you understand heritage, Buchaba? How do you understand culture? How do you apply it in your daily life? Like, for example, it's really beautiful to know that me and my friends, we all have gardens, big plots of gardens. Some people have farms, and farming is a big part of our lives. And so through music, I've been using a lot of indigenous instruments, like the drum, sikubu. I've been using a lot of other African instruments. For me, I feel like the way that culture has played a big role in my music creation is in the way that I'm able to apply all these beautiful instruments coming from different places to create sound. And right now I am going to I will later play a song which basically just touches on how I have compiled and used all of these instruments to create sound, and how that has benefited me as an artist and as an African and as Mosotho, is that I have found there's just something very, very similar about African instruments. There's something that brings them together. They blend together. The drums, the shakers, everything just comes together so beautifully. And while I'm very much interested and willing to continue playing with the guitar and experimenting with it because it's a beautiful instrument, I am finding more liberty right now in creating with my own African instruments. And this is how heritage for me has developed my musical ear and my creative direction. I have found that unison, in Africa we are one, and I feel like in music for us describes us. And if you're talking about a drum, like almost any African can relate to that sound. It almost speaks to the soul. And for me, that is what heritage has done for me. It has given me a sense of belonging. It has allowed me to exist outside of my country. It has allowed me to expand all the way throughout Africa and beyond. And I have had such beautiful experiences partnering with other African children. You know, we meet at festivals and then we start creating music. So for me, that has created a network, an entrepreneurial workshop, an entrepreneurial experience and exposure, and most definitely it has enhanced my musical skills and my musical network. It's so easy now to move around, to communicate with other African artists and to share music. And you know, with digital technology right now, everything is so easy to do. You know, you just get onto an app and start collaborating with another artist, and you start creating a sound, you start creating a song. So for me, that is really the epitome of like why I'm doing music the way I'm doing music. And I hope you will like the pieces that I'm going to do. Thank you. To me, what ties everything together about my Africanism and my heritage and my creative work, my body of work, is also, it ties in with the spiritual aspect of it. There's just a certain emotional, psychological, physical, and spiritual enabling and empowering that I receive through exploring of my African instruments and creation. And I just wish more African children and everyone in the diaspora can experience and experiment with African instruments, tools, mediums, and just to also see if they can find healing in that as well, because it's definitely doing a lot for me. And stay blessed. next song I'm going to sing is called Pay For. And some of the beautiful instruments that I use there are the mbira or the kalimba, as other people would call it. This one is made of coconut. And one thing I love about African instruments is that there's always like a common material that we're using: bamboo, coconut shells, actual seashells. Yeah, there's quite a lot that we can experiment with. So I'm actually right now on a journey of trying to design instruments with the African sound that can be played, and incorporated in our current music. And I would love to collaborate with other artists. So this is something very close to my heart. So Pay For is the next song.
Thank you so much for your insight and remarks on the occasion of a Heritage Day. Our next guest speaker joining us from India is Dr. Madhu Agnihorty, an assistant professor at the Department of Commerce at the St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, India. Namaskar and welcome, ma'am, for your remarks today on day one of the Heritage Festival, with the theme being Heritage of Love and Compassion.
Namaskar. Am I audible? Yeah. Okay, thank you. And namaskar to everyone. And thank you, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogiji, Srishti Harinarayan, and the team for having me in here and giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts on the topic Love and Compassion in the Heritage Week program. I'm really honored to be part of this program. And as Dr. Shujit has rightly pointed out, that is, in today's pandemic world and the crisis that the world is facing, there, without love and compassion, it is really difficult to survive. So from here, I will begin my deliberation on the topic. India is one of the oldest civilization in the world, spanning a period of more than 4,000 years and witnessing the fusion of various customs and traditions which are reflective of the rich culture and heritage of the country. The highlights of Indian heritage lie in the treasure of its art, architecture, classical dance, music, and the innate secular philosophy of its people. The secular philosophy of India, that is Sarva Dharma Sambhava, that is equal respect to all the religions. Every religion takes the follower to the same destination, whatever the path has been followed. The path might be different from each other, but ultimately all religions takes us to the same destination. Indian culture has always promoted the idea of love and compassion from ancient times. Indian culture has always focused on the overall development of individuals along with the development of society. Thus, love and compassion are the inherent characteristics to promote this philosophy. Love and compassion has a pivotal role in our life. Human life constantly oscillates between the happiness and sorrow, good and bad, positivity and negativity. Bhagavad-Gita is the greatest spiritual book ever known to the world, and it is a record of the dialogue centuries ago. It addresses the fundamental questions that arises in human minds often, and it has given the brilliant knowledge about karma yoga, which means all the action that we do is karma, and also we need to understand the effects of those actions. Gita says that it is doing work with cleverness, and as a science, by knowing how to work, one can obtain the greatest results. Gita says that first step is in karma yoga is to fix the thought on the realization of the supreme self. The second step is to act, but not with a selfish motive. If we examine our life, we find it full of self-interest. And the ideal is to work with an evenness of mind in both success and failure. So Swami Vivekananda said, we are responsible for what we are and whatever we wish ourselves to be. We have the power to make ourselves. If what we are now has been the result of our own past actions, it certainly follows that whatever we wish to be in the future can be produced by our own present actions. So we have to know how to act. In this context, I will also like to mention that I also would like to bring in the concept of anger here. Anger is the manifestation of unfulfilled suppressed desires, and it causes damage to the internal physiology of human body. So this also needs to be managed in a very proper way. So for this, here the role of love and compassion comes. About love, Swami Vivekananda said that all things in the universe are of divine origin and deserve to be loved. So, and for compassion, we mean it is about indiscriminate passion. Passion means exclusive focus towards one person. When an individual is equally passionate towards everything, it means it is all inclusive passion, then it becomes when then it becomes a compassion. So let me tell you one story, a small story about King Janaka and Ashtavakra. Around 12,000 years ago, there was a saintly King Janaka and a researcher Ashtavakra. Once the king asked Ashtavakra three questions: what is true knowledge, how to detach ourselves from worldly things, and how to liberate oneself. That means what is the purpose of life? So Ashtavakra asked king to follow five things: be compassionate to yourself, be compassionate to others, contentment, sincerity, and truthfulness. Among these, the first point, that is be compassionate to yourself, it refers to love. Love yourself. Loving self means giving respect and recognizing self. It is very important to understand self at first before any attempt we make to understand others. And if we can understand self, we can deal with any type of situation in this world. So the first step is love self. This leads to a peaceful inner self. And when we are peaceful inside, we have clarity in thoughts and we are able to have look at the things from a completely different perspective. Clarity in thoughts enables us to analyze any situation in a much better way and makes us a balanced personality. Once we become a balanced personality, we also become capable of caring for others. Compassion means care for others. Initially, when we are when we are young, the compassion practice starts from sharing small things with friends and family. Gradually, we learn to share ideas and thoughts with others and attain the characteristics of patient listening also. And ability to listen means we are able to accept others' views as well. This acceptability nurtures the ability to coordinate with others in positive manner. This makes us emotionally balanced individuals who plays a pivotal role in creating sustainable societal environment. With love, one can become balanced personality. With compassion, one can contribute towards building sustainable societal environment. With this, I would like to conclude by saying love and compassion is an integral component of Indian culture. With the interreligious harmony in India, the message of love and compassion gains prominence. To build a peaceful society in the current scenario where the world is struggling with this pandemic and all the problems of war, love and compassion is the only way to save the world. Also, if we refer some previous data, World Health Organization also recognized the importance of compassion in health services and organized a webinar in the year 2018 on compassion, the heart of quality people-centered health services. So it has been recognized by eminent bodies as well, and if we practice it, it makes us more balanced person. Thank you sincerely for listening patiently to me. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you so much, Dr. Madhu Agnihotri ji, for your remarks today on this program. Thank you, ma'am, for taking time off your busy schedule and joining us and being a part of this program. Next, we have a cultural performance showcasing heritage of India.
Tari paga marisa dani nirisa Pama paga ma pa ma ga marisa Dani sa risa Rima pa dani pama ga marisa Ali re mohela ke Vrindavan ko Ali re mohela ke Vrindavan ko Saki re mohela ke Vrindavan ko Laake Vrindavan ko Laake Vrindavan ko Laake Vrindavan ko Ali mohela ke Vrindavan Sakhi re mohela ke Vrindavan ko Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Shyam Sita Ram 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 Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Shyam Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram Dum da 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 dum Pama paga ma di ga sa ni di dum da 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 dum da 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 dum Gar gar tulsi Thakur seva Gar gar tulsi Thakur seva Gar gar tulsi Thakur seva Darshan Govinda ji ko Darshan Govinda ji ko Ali mohela ke Vrindavan ko Sakhi re mohela ke Vrindavan ko Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Shyam Sita Ram 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 Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Shyam Sita Ram 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 Radhe Shyam Dana dum dum da 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 dana dum dum Pama paga ma di ga sa ni di dum dum da dana 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 dum dum Nirmal neer bahat jamna ko 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 O jan dor dai ko O jan dor dai ko O Ali mohela ke Vrindavan ko Sakhi re mohela ke Vrindavan ko Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Shyam Sita Ram 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 Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Shyam Sita Ram 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 Radhe Shyam Dana dum dum da 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 dana dum dum Pama paga ma di ga sa ni di dum dum da dana 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 dum dum Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Shyam Sita Ram 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 sa ni sa 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 ni sa re 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 ni sa re 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 sa ri ga 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 sa ri pa ga ma ga ri ga ri ali mohela ke vrindavan neeku sakhi re mohela ke vrindavan neeku sham 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 radhe sham sita ram 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 radhe sham 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 radhe sham sita ram 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 radhe sham 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 radhe sham sita ram 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 radhe sham na 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 na
शिव शिव भव भव शरणं शिव शिव भव भव शरणं भवतु सदा तव स्मरणं स्मरणं शिव शिव भव भव शरणं शिव शिव भव भव शरणं मम भवतु सदा तव स्मरणं स्मरणं शिव शिव भव भव शरणं शिव शिव भव भव शरणं मम भवतु सदा तव स्मरणं स्मरणं
तारि तज्जं तत तरि तज्जनु तत तदि गण तति गण तंत तरि तज्जं तत तरि तजनु तत तदि गण दिंगण तं तारि तज्जं तज्जं जं तत रि तरि तज्जं तज्जं जं तत रि तारि तज्जं तत तरि तज्जं ततारि तजं तत रि तजं तज्जं तजं गणं गदिं तक दिकु तदि गण तं तजं गणं तक तदि गण तं तक तदि गण तं तजं तदि गण तं तदि गण तं तदि गण तं तजं तदि गण तं तदि गण तं तदि गण तं तजं गिडतक दरिगिडतं गिडतक दरिगिडतं गिडतक दरिगिडतं
गंगाधर चंद्रचूड
दरिगिडतक दिं तत्त दरिगिडतक गिडतक दरिगिडतं गिडतक दरिगिडतक दिं तत्त दिं तत्त दै दरिगिडतक गिडतक दरिगिडतं गिडतक दरिगिडतक दिं दरिगिडतक 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 दरिगिडतक
गंगाधर चंद्रचूड जगन मंगल सर्वलोक कैलास जलवास पुरहर तरहस कैलास जलवास पुरहर तरहस कैलास जलवास शिवकर पुरहर तरहस कैलास जलवास शिवकर पुरहर तरहस आनंद नटन विनोद आनंद विललित खेदाया शिवनारायण तीर्थ देव शिव शिव भव भव शरणं भवतु सदा तव स्मरणं स्मरणं
I hope you enjoyed that performance. Indeed, it was so profound. With that, we've come to the end of day one of the Heritage Festival, with the theme being a heritage of love and compassion. I would like to invite Mr. Sipiwe Mchuno from the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India to render the vote of thanks. With that, please do join us for the rest of the day's upcoming programs.
Namaskar, greetings to all of you. On behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, I am honored today to deliver a vote of thanks on today's program, Heritage Festival Umcimbi Wamagugu, under the theme of Heritage of Love and Compassion, meaning Umcimbi Wamagugu nothando nobubele. Now, allow me to thank all our online guests who took part on today's program. It was a wonderful program, and we have learned a lot from our speakers when they were talking about love and compassion. Bekuluma ngothando nobubele. Today I have learned that before we spread love to others, we have to love ourselves first, so that it will be easy to love other fellow human beings. So to all our speakers, thank you. Dhanyavad. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi nithathe ithuba lokuba nathi this evening. Now allow me to thank our online guest. Firstly, I will start with Miss Fuzeka Shandu, a filmmaker from South Africa, for her wonderful remarks that she gave this evening. And indeed, whatever you said this evening, Miss Shandu, it really means a lot to us. Siyabonga kakhulu sisi ngokuthi uthathe ithuba lokuthi ube nathi this evening. Secondly, allow me to thank Dr. Sujit Kumar Prasad. He is a senior fellow community center for policy research in New Delhi, India. Indeed, sir, the talk that you gave this evening regarding love and compassion, uthando nobubele, it really touches. We know we were revived because of the speech that you gave this evening. Our third online guest was Miss Tabisengi Mohanela. She is a musician, activist, and a researcher. She also gave a wonderful remarks on love and compassion. Thank you very much, Siyabonga kakhulu sisi. Our last speaker was Dr. Madhu Agniholtri. She is an assistant professor at the Department of Commerce at Xavier College in Calcutta, India. Lastly, allow me to thank all the cultural groups that performed this evening. The performances were very wonderful. We really enjoyed all your performances. So to all of you guys, thank you very much for taking part on today's program. To Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Srishti Harinarayan, Mr. Kiran Singh, thank you very much for taking part on today's program. To all our online participants, I'd like to say thank you very much for taking part on today's program. You are kindly advised to visit ICCR Facebook page for all cultural updates for the cultural activities organized by Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center in Durban. Once again to Miss Fuzeka Shandu, Mem Siyabonga kakhulu sisi ukuthi ube nathi today. To Dr. Sujit Kumar Prasad, Dhanyavad for taking part on today's program, and Dr. Madhu Agniholtri, Dhanyavad ma'am for taking part on today's program. Lastly, to Miss Intabiseng Mohanela, Siyabonga kakhulu sisi ukuthi ube nathi this evening. To all of you, have a wonderful evening. Namaskar.